Welcome back, Vintage Gamers, to a Wednesday Night Vintage League. Today we have a Patreon list from longtime supporter Mitchell. And Mitchell asked that I play Workshops tonight. He specified either Workshop Aggro or Jewel Shops. Both of those decks I would classify as viable options in the current Vintage metagame. I would preface that by saying Jewel Shops is the more powerful and the better win rate deck right now. But I don't really like making too much Jewel Shop content. I don't find the deck to be very enjoyable, and I feel like the choices are not very interesting. That being said, I actually played 2 LCQs in the last week, and both of those LCQs I actually played Workshop Aggro Workshop robots. I have a pretty high opinion of this deck against a lot of the major metagame players, especially ones piloted by the grinders who play in the LCQs. I think that this version of the deck is good against Jewel. I think this version of the deck is good against Mono White. I think this version of the deck is good against Tinker. And it's good against Squee, which I think are some of the major players in the metagame right now. The deck I don't think this deck is good against is Agrovine, Hogak style decks. And that's actually what I lost to in one of my qualifiers. I went 4-1 and lost to the winner Canister on Agrovine in the first one, and then in the second one I actually lost in round 1 to Doomsday. Doomsday is another deck that I actually think this has a great matchup against, but my Zoomer opponent was a very powerful wizard and had Gataxian Probe both games, won the die roll, and killed me on turn 1. It happens. So yeah, this deck is sweet. This is my version of Aggro Shops, and it is slanted to beat Mono White. I really like Patchwork Automaton against Squee as a creature or threat that they can't kill. I like having one main deck Needle to get off of Saga that can name on Bazaar. I am also playing a main Shadow Spear, Sky Sovereign, and Ginger Brute. These cards are all mostly for Mono White and other aggro-oriented matchups. The Shadow Spear has come in handy multiple times against different Bazaar decks as well, which makes this a really interesting card. I know this card is seeing play across all the other formats, but doesn't see that much play in Saga decks and Vintage, and that's because Vintage historically, the life total is not the biggest deal, but recently creature decks have been a very important part of the Vintage metagame because of the Mono White not Resurgence, because it's not... He wasn't there before. Mono White Invasion? I don't know. So I am still opting to play Revoker. I just think that this card is extremely good in the Mox metagame that is Vintage. I think Nettle Cyst is very clearly an extremely powerful card. It is a large beater that even if they remove the germ, you can still put this on other things. Putting this on a Ginger Brute that came off with haste, like say they wipe your board with a balance or something, your Saga goes off and you get a Ginger Brute and you put it with a Nettle Cyst and it's unblockable or something like that. It can be very, very powerful. And I am going to play 4 Phyrexian Metamorph. This is mostly a nod to the various Tinker decks of the format, Citadel, Jewels, Sphinxes, and also, of course, Mono White, where you can copy an initiative creature and steal the initiative. Anything else? This is just some restricted powerful cards. The restricted powerful cards I am not currently playing is Karn. I don't think Karn is unplayable. I just have a hard time casting Karn, and I decided I wanted to play some more reliable threats. I do think the sideboard is extremely important, and there's 8 cards that I think are extremely important, and I believe that these 8 cards are the most important cards to have in your Workshop sideboard. These are the single best cards at denying the most powerful decks in the formats their game plan. Null Rod against the Tinker decks, and Leyline against the Bazaar decks. There's nothing that quite does the job like these two, and I highly recommend playing them in your Workshop deck. Obviously, there is some non-bow anti-synergy with playing Null Rod in your Workshop artifact deck, but you'll notice that I didn't include very many activated abilities. Obviously, all of our extra mana sources are activated abilities, and Nettle Cyst moving is an activated ability, but I've included a lot of things like Patchwork Automaton, Revoker, Inspector, and Metamorph are all cards that don't have activated abilities on them. So you try to limit the amount the Null Rod is going to hamper you, where the Null Rod will be hampering your opponent to a much higher degree. We are going to play Dismember for Mono White. and also the swamp comes in versus mono white as a way, something I can get off of the initiative and help me cast this without taking less damage. I do want to have access to a couple different saga targets for Bazaar, and I kind of just think you want to play some traps. I don't like trap that much, but the deck is not very good on turn 0 on the draw, and trap is a way to kind of mitigate that. Shadow Spear is just a extremely efficient card in creature battles that you can get off of Saga. Giving your constructs trample and lifelink is very, very relevant. And there's actually going to be a video that's going to come out tomorrow, Raphael, of a match where basically Shadow Spear solo won the game. And I think that if the metagame tends towards more creature matchups where life total and trample matter, I think Shadow Spear has definitely a home in this deck. Yes, in one of my LCQs, I played a Walking Ballista instead of a Sky Sovereign. That's just because MTGO gave me the wrong deck list. I had dropped from the tournament and re-entered, and it did not take my new deck list. So, yeah. It's mostly just trample and lifelink. So, all right, let's do battling. If you'd like to see your deck played on this channel, check out the Patreon link in the description below, where you can find all the information you need to submit a donation deck list. Let's battle. Okay, here we go. Round 1 of a Vintage League with Aggro Shops. Thanks to Patreon Mitchell, who is supporting the stream and wanted to see Workshop Aggro today. This hand, I'm not sure I would ever keep in like the total blind, but given OEP's tendencies and recent cards, I think I'm going to keep this hand as it covers both Aggro Shops and Bazaar pretty well. It will struggle if we do if they have changed to combo though. So let's see what OEP has for us tonight. OEP has a huge range. OEP can play anything, so we could easily take this hand and get combo killed. All right, so we got an Aggro Shops Mirror here. I like our hand for the Aggro Shops Mirror with Sky Sovereign and Shadow Sphere. Am I Justin? I am one of the people named Justin in the Discord. All right, so we've got a Sphere of Resistance and a Nettle Cyst. I think I am going to go... I kind of want to go like Urza Saga, Mana Crypt, Shadow Sphere. But then I get Wastelanded, and I can follow up with Inspector. I mean, what the Saga does is it kind of forces them to Wasteland me, which I kind of think is okay. A little hard to say. Well, sometimes Raphael changes their name to Justin, but my name should be purple, and I'll probably be the only person who's purple in that. So, all right. So they had a workshop follow up. So this is really problematic. Ooh, Ravager. Haven't seen that one in a while. Man, I don't think we're winning this game. We're just a little too far behind here. I think I have to go Ancient Tomb Inspector and then pray. I guess I could hope that they don't have another Wasteland. But the problem with doing that is I'm not really advancing my artifact count in a way that's going to get me to be bigger than the opponent. I would love to be able to Wasteland them, but I just don't have the tempo for that. So I'll go to 11 and take a, this is going to stink. It's going to stink, but I think I just need to do this. If I don't take too much damage this turn and I win my couple crypt flips, I can maybe go like Saga play Lodestone next turn and then make Saga tokens or something like that. Or I can equip a Shadow Sphere. That might help. I don't think I'm going to be equipping a Shadow Sphere. That's unfortunate. I could really use a Shadow Sphere in this game, which is like half the reason I kept this hand, was because I thought we were going to play a mirror and I would like to have a Shadow Sphere. Yeah, we are not being able to Shadow Sphere. Okay. Yeah, this is another reason I don't like Ravager right now, is I think Nettlecyst is worth playing, and they don't really work well together. Okay. This is really still very bad for me, though. So if I boat this Ravager, how does that make me feel? I think I need to win every mana crypt flip until the end of time. God. All right, they're out of cards. So if I win every mana crypt flip until the end of time, and I play a Metamorph. Ooh. Okay. They can't even Ravager onto a Germ, right? What is my best play here? I have so many plays here. It's definitely Saga. I don't think that's close. The question is, which of these 3 cards should I play? I can just stand up this Sky Sovereign and block, right? It's pretty appealing. I can't really lose any more flips, but... I mean, I have all the Mirror Breaker cards, but this Mana Crypt is probably going to kill me. What? This doesn't seem like a good idea. What is happening? Oh, they're gonna free the Shadow Sphere? Oh, I feel like that gives me a chance. You just shrunk your Nettlecyst. I mean, if they draw an artifact off the top of their library, I'm dead on board, I guess. All right. So, no, I'm not dead on board. I'll go to 1. I feel like that was really, really good for me. I am very happy with this outcome. I mean, it does put me dead to Mana Crypt, but then if I don't die, I can maybe Shadow Sphere something, and I might be fine. I think this game is a 50-50 now. Okay. I'm going to go to 1. And I'm going to kill their Ravager with my boat. And then I can maybe equip a Shadow Sphere on a boat. Oh, I guess maybe they'll trade the boat for the Ravager. And then I can equip a Shadow Sphere on an Inspector. This looks good for me. I just need to win a crypt flip. Famous last words. Have I ever won a crypt flip in my life? He says, knowing full well he's won the crypt flips this game already. I mean, whew, this Shadow Spear could take us to the end zone, the promised land. Oh. Well, Ravager can't go onto the Germ token, so no there. All right. Wait, so now I'm not going to die to the Mana Crypt flip because I can just chump with something. Which thing do we chump with? I wish I could shoot this. Can I shoot this? No, I have to pay 2. If I win the flip, I could theoretically equip a Shadow Sphere onto I'd have to make a thing. I'd have to probably draw a mana source. I'm thinking about like equipping a Shadow Sphere and shooting something and gaining life and hitting and gaining life, but this thing might be too large now, actually. So it was an interesting line from the opponent. I didn't really expect them to make this line. I think it makes more sense to keep my Inspector around. I think the mana is going to be tight. Yeah. This is the thing dealing damage. I will definitely gain life if I equip it, but I just don't think that's a likely outcome. So I think I'm going to lose the ship. I am sad. Goodbye, ship. All right, I would still want to win this mana crypt flip, but if I can get Sasaga going here, I won the flip. And I hit a mana source. I think we are in a great spot now. So I can make a Saga token and equip a Shadow Sphere. And I probably... and play a Metamorph if I want to. I do think I want to attack, but they could... oh, this tramples. So even if they block and sack, it's good for me. Okay, so let me just make this and just see how big this is. I don't think it matters too much if I make it now. 5/5. How many counters is this? They can do... maybe I'm better off just... man. Maybe I'm better off just equipping and passing. I guess nothing is going to be big enough for this, but... because I can take a crypt flip here. Because if I attack with this, I go to 8. And then I can chump with the construct and take 1. Maybe that's better. Yeah, we could definitely sack the crypt. It cost us 2 life. I think I'd rather just go to 1. Oh, I guess I won't be able to. I would need to play it right now. Oh, wow, there's a lot of choices. You're right. I would play it right now. I would go to 2 and I would sack the crypt. I don't think that's better. I guess yeah, this is fine. I'm gonna equip the construct with the Shadow Sphere. I think the longer this game goes, the higher chance we have of winning. Even if they attack and I chump with my token here, I'm pretty sure that's winning for me. Saga, we have answered. No problem. I think we're winning this game. Though it does pump the Nettlecyst, though. I think like the only thing we're super worried about is our opponent drawing a Walking Ballista. They might not even attack here. The one thing I can't do is double block. That would be a losing line. I think my opponent's eating the needle was crazy to me. I would never have made that line, but they definitely had some upsides. This is a weird game. My only blocks are... I think my block is just put the construct in front of the Ravager, gain 6. And that frees me up to do a whole lot of nonsense. If they just attack, I'd just double block too. This looks like a pretty clean double block. I lose both of my things, and they make a 5/5 patchwork that gets bigger. Because I have a Metamorph on... well, I lose the ability to Metamorph on the Ravager to eat my Crypt. I don't know if I need to eat my Crypt if I'm just gaining life with Shadow Sphere, though. I feel like getting rid of one of their creatures here and then Wastelanding. Yeah, I'm going to do this. This is my gut instinct. Like, am I really losing here if they have just like a, you know, a 6-7-7-7 patchwork automaton? I don't think so. Sure. It's 8-8. Lost that flip. Draw. Make a saga token. Do I want a ginger brute or more mana? Or I can needle something. We just want more mana. We'll just take a soul ring. Take a sapphire. So I need to wasteland this. Just gonna take a soul ring. Just wasteland this. Pearl. I could play Metamorph and go to... I can't play Metamorph and Equip because I got a Soul Ring instead of a Sapphire. Okay. Would I register a Saga in a blue-red deck or my deck? Saga in Workshop makes tons of sense. What is this? Okay. 9-9 now. I mean, this is fine. It's Bazaar of Baghdad. No matter what anyone in chat tells you, the answer is Bazaar of Baghdad. I think Shadowspear is just gonna solo win this game, right? This just looks like Shadowspear gaming is happening here. Oh wait, I can Nettle Cyst, can't I? So if I do copy Nettle Cyst and then equip, is that lethal? Oh, it's not lethal. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I can't believe they unneedled the Shadow Sphere. And Slasher, not Slasher, Raphael, this log, this is why I'm playing Shadow Sphere. It's for the Aggro Shops mirror. Okay. I'm gonna bring in Dismember. Yeah, am I gonna bring in Dismember? I'm gonna take out Trinispheres and Spheres. I guess I'm gonna bring in Null Rods. My opponent's on Ravager. Probably want a second needle. Yeah, something like this looks fine. You just like don't really want to play the sphere game, especially when you're on the draw. And I think this should be an advantage to us, but it could be bad. We don't have a lot of cards anyways, so I think this is fine. Land over second needle. I mean, my opponent is on Ballista Ravager, I would assume, right? Well, actually, we saw Patchwork and Ravager. But we do have a bunch of null rods. It might be nice to have a basic. Maybe we don't need more than one needle. I could buy it. All right, game 2. That was a pretty long game 1. I feel like I had a bunch of options, and they were all kind of bad. This hand is not good. This hand is not good. Mutually assured destruction. I don't know about that. Oh, I don't know. Okay. It's not bad. I just don't think it's great. Uh. uh. Hmm. No, I did not qualify for the showcase. I'm not good enough. Oh boy. I'm not thrilled with this, but I do think we're keeping it. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This looks better. Is this a wasteland angle? Kind of feels like a wasteland angle, but also they're taking damage. I might actually just go wasteland, play my automaton, I think. Get the extra counter. Oh, it's so sad. That is not the ideal start. What do you got for you got an Nettle Cyst, maybe? I would have a Nettle Cyst. Who can deal more damage to themselves? Foundry Inspector. Interesting. No Saga trigger. I was hoping I could dismember with Saga. 2 Ancient Tombs. Okay, what do we got? Metamorph. Could dismember the Foundry Inspector. Don't know if that's a winning line. I'm just gonna let this happen. I guess I could have a 2-drop for 0, a follow-up here if they wanted to. Yeah. Life totals are gonna be something else in this game. I could really use one of those Mishra's Workshop cards. Not ideal. Not ideal. Things are bad. So I could copy a Foundry Inspector and then play an Automaton. Is that even good? I think that's what's gonna happen. I don't think I'm gonna have enough life to use. I don't. Will they play 2 spells next turn? Oh, I guess they could play 2 spells next turn, huh? I take 6. So I take 4, go to 12, take 6, go to... I guess I could trade. I don't think I'm wastelanding them. I don't think so. We might have to dismember them. I really wish I had more mana. Well, I don't need to do that now, right? There's no good reason to do it now. I really hope that's not good for me. This is really bad. How do I win this game? After last game, I'm surprised they didn't suit up. I think I'm going to trade. Too far behind. I can copy a Nettlesys, which will be good. Saga Gaming. All right, we have an answer for that. One card left, probably another land. Workshop. Hello, ding, ding, ding. Okay. I think we're currently stable at 7 life. Yeah. We have more Moxen. What a wonderful game of Limited we're playing together. All right. They're going to hold their Wasteland for what? Saga? But if I could draw Saga, I can just strip mine them. Soul Ring. Okay. We have the ever-growing robot. These attacks look bad. How about a Shadow Seer? Who's winning if I draw Null Rod now? Ooh, kept in Sphere of Resistance. On the play, it's a little bit better, to be fair. Okay, sure. Does this allow me a Nettlesys attack? I think it does, right? Sure looks like it. All right. That's a win. I am the Master Workshop Expert. Okay. This one looks fine. Let's do it. What do you got for us, opponent? Uh-oh. 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 Interesting. Expose the Academy. I think this has to be Wasteland, Mox, Sapphire. Oh, sorry, Sphere. It's a little unfortunate, but it must be done, I believe. Any forces? No forces. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna look really silly if they slam a Saga here, but I think I had to do it. All right, they don't have another land. I kind of thought so. Ooh, now what is our play? Now what is our play? I kind of want to put down more lock pieces. I think second. I mean, Trinisphere might be a better option. when they have a force. Force pitching preordain. Interesting. The only thing I'm really worried about right now. Well, I guess there are multiple things I'm really worried about. The biggest thing I'm worried about is my opponent ripping an Urza Saga. That would be pretty rough for us. We would need to find another Wasteland or a Revoker, I guess. So we have a lot of outs to that. Okay. Well, now I'm worried about absolutely nothing. All right, Automaton Sphere, and then I think we're just like super far ahead in this game. I guess I could have another force. All right, okay. We take those. This is a Null Rod game. This is probably a Mind Break Trap game, but we don't know. Yeah, we saw Preordain. So Null Rod and traps. If they're probably not PO, so I think I'm gonna take out Preordain on the draw, or Chalice on the draw. Skyship, Shadow Sphere, Jinjo Brute. I'm gonna leave in one needle so I can get it off Saga. And then I have to pick a couple more cards. Yeah, I would suspect like Esper Tinker or Grixis Saga or something like that. Might just be two Metamorphs. Metamorph is nice. It can copy like spheres, which is really nice, but I think this is fine. Okay. What do we got? We got a trap, and we got a needle, and we got a null rod. Sand seems fine. Inspector, huh? I might just go Patchwork, Needle on Manifold Key. What does that mean? Oh, right. There's a Misty, and this is a Needle. Okay, Esper Saga. I have the Wasteland, and I don't want to needle my own Saga, so I think I'll just needle the better part of the Time Vault combo. Oh, I'm going to get vamped on. That's quite bad for the home team. If it's just Vamp, Land, Tinker, like, I don't really have outs to that, right? That would be bad. I don't think the play is ever Null Rod lead. Like, I could lead Null Rod here for what it's worth, right? I just don't think that I'm allowed to do that. Hopefully it's just Ancestral. Okay, it's just Ancestral. That's good. Okay. Tinker, Mind Break Trap, maybe? No? I mean, the Snow Rod's looking pretty good. Don't think it's going to resolve, but... I guess this plays really bad against Hercules. This is Dismember? What is this? Oh, just black mana. Sorry. Of course, Jet makes black mana. I'm set back pretty far by Hercules here. Yeah. Not great. Don't feel like we're in a very convincing spot in this game. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, pass. What is going on over there? All right. Well, I'm going to do the thing where I play Inspector, Inspector, and then hope I can play all my stuff. Oh, they're just going to hardcast Force on this? Wait, then I can just Null Rod you. You got the hold Force for Rod, right? Or am I crazy? Oh, they're going to Swords it with the... Sure. That's still fine, though, right? I still just deploy the Null Rod. Obviously, this turns off my Sagas, but... I mean, maybe I don't have to. I guess I do want Constructs. I shouldn't need Constructs here, though. Though I don't have anything really great to get with my Saga if I do Null Rod. I didn't play anything last turn. I'll just leave it to chance, I guess. I just don't see myself winning if I play Null Rod here, to be fair. Ah, Brain Freeze. So they are on... Wait, they're on what? Just like 4-color Breach? Rest Down, Brain Freeze, Citadel, Breach, Time Vault, Needle, Top. Second Brain Freeze. Mind Break trap them. How would I do that? On their second spell? Huh? We're just gonna go Ruby second Breach? They played Swords that turn. And then Brain Freeze, right? Alright, so now I get to actually make mana. I'm pretty happy with the way this is currently looking, to be honest. I could technically get Black Lotus and have hard cast. I'm gonna cast Null Rod this turn though. So let's just get the Soul Ring or the Mana Vault. Let's do this. Let's get the Soul Ring. So if I have 1 mana, 3 mana, Inspector, I should have enough mana to play everything this turn and activate my Saga. Oh, I used the wrong mana though. So I actually, it's kind of annoying. I needed to use my workshop mana on the Inspector so I could tap for my Saga here. So I guess I have to use this Wasteland to tap for my Saga. Very annoying. Maybe I just don't make a Saga token. It can't be right. They have to have Sagas in their deck, right? Enlightened Tutor. Interesting. I kind of want to just Wasteland them. Well, I don't really need to Wasteland them. For a Vampiric, I kind of want to just Wasteland them. I really screwed up with that Soul Ring. I just like saw the floating mana and went for it when I really just needed to play this off of that. All right, I think I'm gonna just play this Needle and then attack and then. Yeah, it hurts my deck, but it hurts their deck more. is the way you look at it. Uh, do I rather get 1 damage and play this Null Rod pre? Kind of want to see if this Null Rod resolves. I really screwed up with this Soul Ring play. We'll play this Null Rod. That's kind of what I expected. Of course. So would I rather Wasteland or have a... I would rather have a Construct. Okay. This is fine. I still die to a lot of things, but they're going to have to win now because I have a huge Construct. I might regret not hitting this Underground Sea. But I guess if they're not Null Rod, then I don't want to ever hit this Underground Sea because they have a jet, so. Well, Vamp is in the graveyard. I'm still worried about Demonic and Yogwill. Well, I guess they wouldn't play Yogwill because they're playing Breach. Excuse me. So it's just Demonic. I don't think I can ever beat Demonic here, so. I can beat, like, Preordained Demonic, Breach, Trap. Maybe I am just supposed to get Black Lotus. That way I can have Hardcast Trap up. Tinker? Is it like Tinker for Lotus? What do you have? Do you have a Sphinx? That'd be pretty crazy. I don't... It's gotta be a Sphinx, right? Guess they could have a portal or something. Could just be a... Oh, I guess they can get a needle because I didn't activate the Saga. I think that's fine. I just need to draw an artifact in that case. Oh, guess they're dead. I don't think I played this the way I would like to have played this game. I think... if I could go back, I would definitely get... I think I would get a Black Lotus so I could hardcast Trap. And I would just use my Inspector off of this Workshop. I don't like the way I played that game at all. Interesting deck from the opponent. Okay, round 3. Aggro Shops. On the play this time, they have a companion. Is it a cat? It is a cat. They have a cat. What do I have? I do not have a powerful enough hand to keep. What about against a cat, though? There are no more LCQs. I'm dead. Actually, this hand might be good enough to keep against a cat. Actually, I'm going to keep this hand. Because my opponent revealed Luris, that puts them on an extremely high probability of being Jeskai, and this hand is fine against Jeskai. I especially like Patchwork Automaton Wasteland against Jeskai. And a bunch of threats is actually pretty good. They might even force this. We might even trade Ragavan for this. I'm not sure. Because I'm looking at Wastelanding them, I might. Of course, Jeskai starts with their companion Mox. Is it a monkey? Alright, it's a preordain. The deck doesn't play basics, does it? Top, bottom. And a monkey? No monkey. Noted. Alright, I would like to play Saga plus Threat. I mean, there's only so many slots, right? Playing Inspector as the threat allows me to activate Saga, play Ancient Tomb, and play another Inspector. Or Nettle Cyst. So I like it more than playing like a Nettle Cyst. I think if they were to Ragavan me at this point, I would just not care. So there are things that can go wrong here. Like if opponent does a really crazy cantrip line where they have like tons of like ancestrals into things, it's bad for me. But my opponent's deck is like a fair controlling tempo deck, so they're definitely on the fair end of the spectrum. They have a Gataxian Probe off of their Expressive Iteration. That's just good value. We'll take the 2 damage though. All right, my opponent really needs a Wasteland here. If they don't have a Wasteland, they're basically going to get mowed over by this Urza Saga because they're just like super fair. They obviously have access to like swords or maybe Shattering Spree, but the Wasteland is the single cleanest answer. And they only play, oh, there it is, 4 copies. The good news about this, though, is I can actually Wasteland them, putting them super behind on mana, and then play a 3-drop. Let's get rid of this just in case I get dazed. And then the question is it Nettlecyst time? The problem with Nettlecyst is it does get negated, and there are 2 negations in their deck. But the clock increase is just too high to pass up, I think. We also have free Shadowsphere. I did get negated. I wonder if I was right in my initial thought there. I don't know. I guess you could play Shadowsphere first as bait. Sure. I mean, I don't know if it's a bait they'll ever take, because I don't think this card matters very much here, but... Yeah, I don't think I would want to Nettlecyst equip, though. This matchup is definitely about building enough threats. This attack leaves me exposed to a Ragavan, but I just don't think I care. They probed me and they know about Nettlecyst. That's a fair point as well. True. All right, that's enough. Little robots, too good. Now we get to an interesting point. We're on the draw against Jeskai. Do I want anything? Dismember is a valid option. Cage is a valid option. Leyline is a valid option. Patchwork is great. I highly underrated this card. It does make sequencing bad sometimes, but for the most part, quite good. This is a weird one because most of the cards we take out normally are still good. So I kind of think we're not going to have enough room to bring in Leyline here because I don't think any of my cards are like super bad. I don't think we need Shadowsphere. I don't know if we need a Needle. I do think I'm going to keep the Ginger Brute. I definitely am keeping Sky Sovereign. I kind of like the idea of being able to get a cage. It's a little narrow, though. It's just really for Dreadhorde Arcanist. It's probably not necessary. What if we just take out our little 1-drop targets here, bring in some removal spells, and replay with this? That seems fine to me. Yeah. Is Metamorph better or worse than a cage, though? Probably better, right? And I don't think we're going to bring in the ley lines. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a way to clear the graveyard. All I can do, like, clearing the graveyard is better, like if I had a Soul Guide Lantern or something, because then they can't do delving. This literally only stops Dreadhorde, which I don't really like, I think. I'm gonna run with this. Yeah, I would bring in a Soul Guide. I would bring in a Soul Guide. Oh, Luris, that's a fair point. It does stop Luris. Maybe 1 cage is right. I definitely considered, like, I mean, I consider bringing in Leyline, right? So, I don't know. This hand is 2 Sagas, a 2/1 with very little text, and a Ginger Brute. I think you're just supposed to keep this on the back of Saga, right? I have Saga Ancient Tomb. Like, this is the Saga matchup. This is the deck that you want Saga versus at all times. You demand they have Wastelands. So do we lead Saga? I think with no pressure, the answer's got to be yes. We're probably supposed to play out Black Lotus because of Lavinia. Well, see, when the last time I played Sagas, people told me I was supposed to sandbag them. But this doesn't feel like a sandbag time. This feels like this is my primary plan. These cards look a little silly right now, but it's what I gotta do. Definitely just supposed to play this Lotus in case they have Lavinia, though. All right, so time to find out if they have a Wasteland or not. If they don't have a Wasteland, we just go Ancient Tomb and kill them, I guess. Yeah, what is their counterplay at that point? No Wasteland, huh? What are you keeping? Just a bunch of counter spells? A bunch of Swords to Plowshares, maybe? Dismember. Well, I'm about to play the or the Construct Gaming. Last time I cast a Venom. Yeah, I mean, Magic Online does do that. My opponent's like, I have all of these good spells, but you played a Ginger Brute. What am I supposed to do? Kill the Ginger Brute? Go get him, Ginger Man. Expressive Iteration? Oh, baby, look at the value. Gotta find that Wasteland. And then you gotta lose a Construct, too. Can Metamorph a Construct. It's probably the game plan. Ancestral Recall. All right, I mean, that's pretty good value as well. A little bit of overdraw. Depending on if they draw one of their Moxen or not. All right, 8 cards in hand for the opponent. Look at the value. They cast so many powerful blue spells. Are they just going to die to a Ginger Brute? I think Ancestral is worse than Wasteland there, if I had to guess. Clean up, probably a land. And Lavinia, okay. All right, well, Ruby, Saga token. Probably just get mana here. All right, I think that's all I can get. Yeah, we'll just get a Soul Ring. And Ruby. And Saga. And Revoker and Metamorph. What am I going to revoke? I guess I can revoke their Black Lotus. Or, oh, I'm so bad. I need to crack my Black Lotus before this. Bruh. What a punt. I'm so bad, man. I wanted to crack Black Lotus and name Black Lotus so I don't get Shattering Spreed. But they don't have Black Lotus or they would have played it, so... But that's the thing I would want to hit here. Revoke Bobble. I guess I could revoke Bobble. That is the most likely card for them to have. They don't trim Bobbles in the Shops matchup, though. Well, I mean, I'm going to play the Metamorph this turn, so... Yeah... I think I was supposed to name Black Lotus. I think that's definitely the case. I wish I had cracked my Lotus and named Black Lotus. All right, so I am going to attack first and then play a Metamorph as a construct. That's true. I could copy Revoker. I could also get balanced. I guess I have a Saga. Maybe it's not the end of the world if I get balanced. Maybe I will copy a Revoker. No, I... Dress down, true. True. It's kind of rough. I mean, this could just get forced, to be fair, right? Definitely, you know... I kind of feel like at some point, something I do has got to get forced. I guess a balance is not that bad for me because they're going to lose their whole hand. Yeah, I guess dress down is the biggest one. I am going to name Black Lotus. I think Lotus Shattering Spree is one of the ways we lose this game. I mean, it's kind of likely that they could swords this, play Black Lotus, and Shattering Spree anyways. But... oh, no Wasteland's good for me. I mean, we have a really convincing board. Look at that Ginger Brute. You don't mess with that thing. Think of all the extra damage it did. Oh, Brotherhood's End? I guess that's not good enough, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 fours. Brotherhood's End would not be good enough. Brotherhood End plus swords would be good enough. I guess, wait, Brotherhood End destroys artifacts, though, doesn't it? So maybe that just does it. Brotherhood End. No one's playing that, right? That's the card I would be playing. Brotherhood's End. Yeah, Brotherhood End would be quite good here. Just, you know, a 7 for 1. I don't believe anyone plays that card, though. All right, here's the Shattering Spree. Hitting Revoker. Okay, so they have Shattering Spree plus Dress Down. So they're going to hit both Revokers with Shattering Spree, and then they are going to Dress Down the Construct tokens. Okay. It's a big play. Doesn't kill my Ginger Brute, though. Oh, no, it's swords? That doesn't do it. Oh, no, it's Dress Down. Okay. They're going to do it in my upkeep in case I play... I don't know why you would do this in my upkeep. Is there any convincing reason to do this in my upkeep? I guess Academy hold up Mindbreak Trap or something? All right. That doesn't answer this saga, though. Oh! 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 Ooh, it's gonna get negated. Why am I so happy? It's lethal. 1 saga, 2, 3, 4, 5. Saga is artifacts and enchantments. So if they don't have a counter, it is lethal. Any Ginger Brute wins? Any big old brutes? Come on, give me the Ginger Brute win. No, why are you like this? All right, attack. Food Golem. All right, my opponent has 4 cards left. They could just untap and Treasure Cruise or something. I wouldn't say we are super favored, but we have a good shot. We have Saga still going. Oh no, they top decked the Strip Mine. I rate that as very bad for me. They have a delve spell and a strip mine? Oh, they have an iconoclast. I see. I see. There's no way I can, like, create something so that I can dismember this, right? Does block my saga token, though. Oh, what? 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 They must have another dress down? I might need to save the dismember for Luris. They just must have a dress down, right? I guess I could have misclicked, true. It's a really weird time to strip mine as well. I mean, I was going to dismember in combat, but this means they can't, like, preordain or something. This dismember is, like, a little greedy on my end, because if they get a Luris going, it's going to be really annoying. Okay, that went really well. It must be dress down. It's the only thing that makes sense. Still pretty aggressive. I mean, I'm always making double constructs here, so... Yep, dress down. Oh. What? Bruh, you gotta wasteland the saga. What are you thinking? I wish I kept my needle in for wasteland right now. Guess I'll just get a sapphire. That was a bold wasteland. I have so much mana. What does the workshop do? Maybe they were just expecting their Dreadhorde to do the work. Or not their Dreadhorde, their Iconoclast to do the work. I mean, I still think I'm not favored from here, which is pretty crazy. Like, all they need to do is cast one Delve spell, right? The little ginger brute that could. Revoke. I guess I can revoke Lotus again. Black Lotus. All right. That's 3 damage. Hello, Mario, who's not actually named Mario. Ooh, that is too late. No shot. Sorry, friend. The ginger brute's taking you to town. Boom. The little ginger brute that could. Wow. Okay, here we go. Round 4. We're up against RDFI. Likes to play Oath of Druids, and I do not have very many Grafdigger's Cages anymore. But I do have this hand. This does not look like a keep. I could technically go Patchwork Sphere. I still don't think that's good. Like, if I go Patchwork Sphere and then I untap and I either strip mine them or play Ginger Brute, or no, yes, if I hit a mana. This is definitely not Lotus 3-ball strip. That is no way in hell a keepable line. I think this is a mulligan. This hand's way better. This hand is way better. Now I have to figure out how I want to do this hand. Mana Crep Automaton, Mox Sphere. Bottom. I could also go Mox Mana Crypt Forge. I could go Mox Mana Crypt Inspector Ruby Sphere and just bottom the Automaton. Or sorry, I can just bottom the Automaton. I don't know. There's actually some pretty good choices here because if we go Inspector Sphere, then our Mystic Forge is still parity, and we can play Forge on 4 on the next turn. It definitely presents less clock, which is not ideal against the presumable Oath opponent, but I think I'm going to bottom the Automaton and go Crypt Jet, Mox, Inspector, Sphere. I don't know if there's any reason. Yeah, the reason would be to play around Vigor. Would be to not play the Inspector first. So, all right. That's a good start. Maybe we can draw Workshop off the top or Academy. I'm just ready for it. Crack, fetch, land, Lotus, Oath. No, I was kidding. I was kidding. It was a joke. Don't do it to me. Oh, probe. Okay, sure. That means this Mystic Forge is resolving, which I quite like. I would love to draw Tolarian Academy right now. That's a boat. All right, well. How is Inspector better than the other dude? Well, you see, if my spells cost 1 more, this makes them cost 1 less. I'm gonna bottom the Metamorph, even though I think it's quite good here as a second Inspector. Gotta try to go off. Moxes, Nettlecyst. Okay. I really was hoping to hit like mana, but we didn't hit mana, so it's fine. Everything's fine. Wasteland. Aha! I played around that. Sucker. Oh, okay. I mean, my opponent is clearly doing the Oath thing, and they're clearly behind. We just need to capitalize. Yeah, the Maharu Oath plays waste. All right, I don't think we activate Forge in our upkeep, even though there's a lot of dead hits off of lands. Because I think the Nettlecyst is a relevant clock. Okay, I'm definitely going to cast that. Well, am I going to cast that? Then I might not be able to cast this Nettlecyst. I mean, I have to. I got to keep going, right? Uh-oh. What do I name off of this? Mox? Black Lotus? I could name Oko, but Oko is not a huge problem here. Do we get rid of that sphere on top? The sphere is not going to help me if my opponent plays land Oath. So I think the answer is yes. All right, Workshop. All right. I think does this Nettlecyst kill them if they go Oath here? 3 mana Nettlesis attach. I think the Nettlesis just kills them if they go for a tap out Oath. I guess I could name Renin 6. If they tap out Oath, they go to 10. I currently have... Yeah, they're dead if they tap out Oath here, which is what I want them to be. Okay, Ren, kill my Revoker. Sure. Are they still dead? Yeah, they're still dead. Mystic Forge, baby. Yeah, we have a sphere for protection. Oh, we would have lost this game horribly on the draw, but we were on the play. Unfortunately, I usually play like 3 or 4 cages, but I cut those. So I guess we play a cage and a needle, and we take out Sky Sovereign and Shadow Sphere. Brilliant. This matchup is really, really, really bad because Maharu plays like 20 cards in their sideboard for the matchup. Though RDFI does tend to play their own brew, so let's go look at their last list. Only 2 Nature's Claim, 1 Ancient Grudge. Ash of Insight. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may put one of them in your hand and the rest in your... But why? Sarah's Emissary. Spicy. All right, this is less threatening than Maharu's version, which is like 4 claim, 4 vigor. So that's nice of them. I think this is still going to be a really, really tough matchup. I don't think this is keepable. I would like our Ginger Brute to stop appearing in our hands and only appear out of our saga when it kills someone. Take your points away. I think this hand's a mulligan. Even though it has our cage, Saga, yeah, Saga needs that buff. Agreed. Imagine if we could have a Saga board. That'd be so fun. I might play Saga if I could tutor Saga from my sideboard. Would it be better or worse? Because you don't have Moxen, right? Do you put a Moxen in your sideboard so that you can tutor it with your Saga? Why do we have to make this choice? Why don't we make it your library or your sideboard? Easy. I don't think this hand is good enough. I'm going to mulligan it. Okay. Goodbye, Ginger Brute. You lived a good life. All right, so what's my plan? Is my plan... It's probably just Automaton, play all my stuff. Could get a Saga going, theoretically. If I wanted to go Saga, Ruby, Patchwork, Lotus, Revoker. Might be better. Yeah, that's probably better. And I can just name Wasteland or Renin 6 or something. What? Am I getting claimed? Oh. I ranked that as bad for me. For anyone keeping track at home. I think anything my opponent does is bad for me here. I don't have a lot of faith in this game. This game, we are just so far behind. Oh, they brought in the trap. I guess it's probably in the main deck, actually. Haru loves to play main traps. All right, jam an oath on me. Do your worst. Or wasteland. That also works. I think anything my opponent plays here is probably going to beat me. Right in 6. Time walk. Well, Preordain doesn't technically beat me. I could get my Saga claimed, I guess. If my Saga goes off and I get 2 constructs in a Grafdigger's Cage, I might be in an okay spot. But still have to beat like Oko, Nature's Claim stuff. Oh, nope. They hit Emerald Oath. Sad day. Oh, not Oath! Not Oath! Not Oath! Beautiful. Can I hit a Mox, I guess? So I can play Revoker and Tomb? Boundary Spectre. Feel like I need a construct more than I need anything else here, so... Like, I could go inspect. I just think that's bad. Let's just go with construct. What's the situation where pass? We're on a pass angle? They don't play dress down, do they? Am I gonna get my ass dressed down again? Okay. I'm gonna cast all the spells. I'm gonna get a Grafdigger's Cage, so. Okay, I'm just casting spells. I don't know what's going on. They didn't have lands, and they tutored for force. Gonna force my inspector? It's a 3/2. For 1 mana, kind of. Oh, yep. Force pitching Oko. Force pitching Oko? What? Alright. Tag you for 8. Nature's Claim? Then they would have just killed the Saga. Ancient Grudge. Dig through time? They needed the force? What a weird game. My opponent's drawn 1,000,000 cards. Ancestral, Preordain, Dig Through Time? I mean, I got a sizable robot army here. Yeah, I mean, we lose to Oath Time Walk, right? No, we don't, because we have a cage. I guess we lose to Oath Time Walk Nature's Claim. How's Affinity going? It's not bad. I wish there were cards that actually had Affinity in my deck. Then I could call it Affinity and get the SEO points. Get the clicks. Fortunately, Affinity, not the strongest mechanic in Vintage. Funny. What's the most common Affinity card that gets played in Vintage? Is it Thoughtcast? Sure looks like it. Yeah. It's Thoughtcast. Second one is Thought Monitor. And then after that, After that, you're hitting brew territory. Yo, maybe we should put this dragon in the deck. That could be fun. I have definitely registered Mirror Enforcer, and Sojourner's Companion, and Frogmite before in Vintage. Does Emery have Affinity? She doesn't technically have Affinity. You know we're talking about technically. Oh, this is a hard dig through time, I guess. I wonder what they can think. I mean, it's gotta be, you gotta be looking for nature's claims, right? You gotta be looking for oaths, time walks. All right, here we go. They're putting cards in the bottom of the library. What do we have here? Are you taking a massive amount of life total? Survey says. Nope, nature's claim. Okay. I mean, I think that's okay for me if my construct is getting claimed. Worse things could have happened. Okay, Forbidden Orchard and Ancient Grudge your cage, flashback Ancient Grudge on your construct, maybe? Uh-oh. I wanted to revoke that. I might have revoked Oko, to be honest. They got a lot of mana. What if they just hard cast Sarah's Emissary? What do you need for that? 8? That would be bad. I don't think we can beat that. We could have our own Sarah's Emissary, but that's not good enough. Hardcast Atraxa. No, we think that they're on. Maybe they might still be on Emissary. They could be on Atraxa. I don't think we're beating Atraxa either, though we could draw one of our Metamorphs. We have 4 Metamorphs. But I feel like they're going to get a little more value out of the Atraxa trigger than I would. All right. Oko, turn off my cage. Slam an oath. No, make a food token. Okay. All right. So long game. Urza's Saga, Revoker, Nettlecyst. All right. Well, I'm going to lead Revoker. See if I can bait a spell and then hook up a Nettlecyst for the win. So this is a very intense game of Magic the Gathering. It's very... They've drawn so many cards. All right, what do we have? What's happening? What's happening? What is happening? Something is happening. Are we getting slice and diced? What's going on? We are getting abraded on our automaton, paying the ward cost. Okay. All right. I will revoke your Oko. I guess they were worried I was going to revoke their Lotus. Fair. Does this Nettlestis win the game? Uh, 5 plus 6? No. Probably still gonna do it. Maybe... Yeah. I'm still gonna put them... You're at 2. Be scared of the spirits. I feel like this cage probably did work in this game. The one cage to rule them all. I mean, we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot. 3 cards left in our opponent's hand. They have a food token, 2 life. So technically, if they remove this construct in combat, we won't be killing them. So that's not great. But we have an Urza Saga going. Again. Nothing. No shot. Easy. Okay, here we go. 5th and final round of our Vintage League with Aggro Workshops. It's gone pretty well so far. Hopefully we can keep that up. I'm going to keep this hand. Jordan. The deep cuts. All right. So our opener is like workshop. Depends on what they play. All right. We definitely want to try to lead on a lodestone here. But we don't have enough mana to do everything we really want to. Oh, Ancient Tomb is a bad draw. I was looking for Moxen. I kind of feel like we're just supposed to go Workshop, Mana, Vault, Lodestone. But I could go Patchwork, Shadow Sphere. Oh, sorry, I could go Patchwork, Mana Vault, go. I'm like super worried about getting combo killed though. But that sets me up for just so much better of a second turn. It's like pretty risky. But I think I'm going to do it. If I had a Moxen, I would be much, much happier because then I could just go Moxen after this and play Lodestone as my last card. But we drew an Ancient Tomb, so let's see how bad this goes for us. We could easily die here to a variety of decks. Tundra could represent Esper Saga. Oh, double Tundra. Time Walk. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think there's a lot of merit to going Lodestone first here. Tundra Wasteland is interesting. That might be some kind of blue controlling deck. Or Initiative Tinker. In which case our play was much... Ah, Initiative Tinker. Okay. This is really good for us. So I'm going to play Lodestone Golem and Saga. Well, maybe not, because then my Ancient Tomb's come into play tapped. So maybe I have to play... I mean, it could just be not initiative. It could just be like a blue-white hate bear style deck. Hmm. I don't think I'm ever going to get a Saga token in this game anyways, so maybe I just go Ancient Tomb, Lodestone. If I do that, I can't play anything next turn, though. Well, I can only play one spell this turn. I think I'm going to go Foundry Inspector based on my opponent's current board state. And I think I'm going to play Saga and make my opponent Wasteland it. Well, I think they'll probably take the bait on Workshop, so I'm going to actually play Ancient Tomb. I think my opponent will hit the Workshop with the Wasteland, unless they have a spell they want to cast, of course. Also, playing another creature is good here in case they play for the initiative. This could be the initiative for sure. Maybe? Archon's definitely annoying for us. This card is just great against everyone. I do think I wanted to hold this Mana Vault, though, because if I play Lodestone and they waste my Workshop, I just have no follow-up play. Crucible. Wow. Interesting. So some kind of blue-white. Interesting. I'm okay with that. I mean, I am going to get kind of bodied by this Crucible, but as long as I can keep putting threats into play. What? Oh, I just tapped something for no reason. Yeah, not my finest moment. I forgot my Lodestone cost less. They're pretty dead though right now. They kind of need some removal. All right, well, they're going to make them Wasteland this. I guess they get to Wasteland 2 things, but I still have mana to play something if I need to. And I have pretty lethal on the table. Not lethal, I guess. They could block here. Yeah, I have lethal, actually. Not on the table, but... Tangle Wire? What are we, Sean? Double Wasteland. Tap, tap, tap. Okay. Attack? Really? That's bold. I'm going to tap my Mana Vault. Get my 5 damage in. I guess if they have like second Tangle Wire, it's pretty good. I mean, it might win. I am getting Crucible locked. Tap your blocker? They must have a second Tangle Wire, right? You're right. I should have played Shadow Sphere. I again forgot that it cost 1 less. God, that was a really bad misplay. I just forgot, chat. I am no omniscient being. There was no reason. Yeah, with Tangle Wire out, that would have been pretty crucial. I don't know. Okay. Definitely should have played the Shadow Sphere there. That could definitely have been something that mattered. My opponent is on... I don't know exactly what my opponent is on. Blue-white Tangle Wire tempo thing. I'm going to bring in Dismember and Swamp. And maybe this Needle? I don't know. What am I going to take out? Chalice. Maybe we take out Mystic Forge. Trim some Metamorphs. I don't know. It's really hard to say. I'm going to take out the Skyship. I know I'm bringing in Dismember, but I think the Skyship is a little less castable. I think the Shadow Sphere is not going to be good. It depends, though. If they're playing Initiative, I want the Shadow Sphere. I just don't know. I don't know if Thorn is mid. It depends on how many creatures they're playing. I don't know. This is what you get when you're a brew. You get some extra power. I'm going to take out these like higher cost, higher variance cards. And I'm going to just bring in some removal. Spear is good. We don't know that for sure. Especially with Sago. Yes, that's why I put it in the deck. We don't know if Spear is actually good here, though. It greatly depends on if my opponent is running initiative creatures or not. They could be, but if you have Crucible... my opponent had 3 Tundras in play. How can we assume it's not a blue deck? Alright, I'm going to mulligan this hand for something more high power. Ooh, boy. Well, this could go very wrong. I'm going to keep it. Oh god, what if I get null rotted? Okay, that's a lot of fast mana. Am I just gonna get turn 1 birded? Ah, okay. So I didn't expect that. Land? That's bad. Alright, well, I'm gonna change my board plan in game 3. They're on spears? Wow. Workshop is still really good for us here. Am I supposed to... I feel like I'm supposed to be the one on spheres. I still can win this game if we draw Workshop. All right, well, clearly I was never winning this game. I still get to play. Any workshops? Don't know if I'm going to be able to cast this Dismember in this game, to be honest with you. Maybe I still have to keep it one more turn, though. I guess technically all of these creatures lose to Thalia. I feel like this game was totally winnable. Now we're dead. This game was totally winnable if in any of our draws we drew lands. Like, just simply drawing an Ancient Tomb, letting me play Mana Crypt, we probably just straight up win the game. But now it's too late now. Okay, we need to rethink what we're doing here. I don't know if we want to... I still think we should be sphering our opponents on the draw, right? Kind of think these Metamorphs are garbage, though. I guess we don't really have other things. Guess they're fine. Yeah, if we can Metamorph Crucible, that'd be nice. Maybe we just keep all of these. And we just trim on, like, Thorn and a Needle. You're right. We probably don't need Ginger Brew. Maybe it's fine. I think opponent could be on forces. It's really hard to tell. Yeah, this looks fine. Definitely a keep. I wonder if I'm supposed to just Needle Wasteland here. Probably. I like the start. Ready for Strip Mine, baby. Black Lotus is scary. 7-card Black Lotus hand. At least we have coverage on Archon. I mean, if we get to make constructs, I think we'll be extremely happy. They could definitely play Hercules, though. All right, what do you got for me? Time Walk. That's a lot of power. Pass, though. Okay. I guess, like, Tangle Wire is good here. It stops a Saga token. No! You gotta be kidding me! That's so messed up. So frustrating. Ugh. God, if they Crucible lock me with Strip Mine. I would be very upsetting. They have workshops in their deck. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Is it a God Pharaoh statue? All right. This is I've played a deck like this, haven't I? Not me. I believe I streamed a deck like this. I believe I've streamed a deck like this. 6 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. 7 mana? I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Maybe it's just play Lotus. I want to play Nettlecyst, but it costs 6, and this only makes 5. And this costs how much? It's 5. Man, if I get Crucible, we cannot play this game. That's why I'm trying to get to this Nettlecyst as fast as I can. Tabernacle. Interesting. Okay. That turns off my Nettlecyst again. So I have to tap 1 here. I guess I can play it off my Lotus, though, if I want. Metamorph. What if I metamorph a God Pharaoh statue? Is that my best line? I think it's my best line. This is certainly a game of Magic. Don't traumatize me like that. Okay. So I could dismember this Thalia right now. To push damage through. Let's go! Yes! Big W. I even threw away that that second game there. We probably should have been 10-0. Not bad. You take these. All right. 5-0. Trophy. Thank you to Mitchell, who was the Patreon subscriber who requested that we play this deck for his donation deck list. If you want to see your deck played on the channel, if you subscribe on Patreon, there's a tier list there, or there's a tier there for a monthly donation deck list. Yeah, I think this really shows exactly why Shops is still powerful. You do really hard to interact with things and you make your opponent's life miserable. I don't even think we had particularly strong hands in this event, and we still were able to pull off a pretty convincing set of 5-0. So Workshop, no matter what Zoomers tell you, is not dead. You can totally play Aggro Shops, especially when the meta calls for it. If you want to see more vintage action, definitely check out the YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. I will see you then.